What is your American dream?
I was born in New York. My American dream is music, and DJing is the one thing that I love.
My family's from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in the Bronx. My American dream is to achieve success and prosperity through my hard work.
I am from India. I do hope that each one of us realize our own humanity and start helping each other succeed. We are all humanity, and that's the least we should be able to do.
I am from Poland. My American dreams be close to my kids and my grandkids, be happy, enjoy daily life. My dreams are very humble.
I'm from Suriname, South America. My American dream is to take advantage of opportunities to excel at my talents.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Hello. Having a little technical difficulties here. Why don't we all just wait while I figure this out? Isn't that so rude of me? Everyone just wait. We're not even going to start the show yet. Just wait until I figure this out.
This is Brad's show live.
This is Brad's show live. Why not, right? Let's see. Aha!
Are we up?
Aha!
Live show.
Welcome, everybody. Vanessa, welcome. Yo, welcome.
Hey.
Brad Squad, welcome. How you guys doing? My technical difficulties. But I'm having technical difficulties again because I don't hear you, Vanessa.
I can barely hear you.
It's like you're underwater. Are you in the Atlantic Ocean right now, Vanessa? By the way, while Vanessa sorts herself out, congratulations.
Is in order.
Is in order to us. Brad Show Live is a finalist in the Model D Synopsis Awards for Best Specific Category on YouTube. We're up against Bleacher Report's and Comedy Central's YouTube channel.
So it's just us three.
It's us three. Woo. It's Bleacher Report, Comedy Central, Brad Show Live. We're gonna duke it out to the end.
Yes, we are.
The winners will be announced November 9th. I truly hope it's us.
I do too.
That'd
be awesome.
Yes. All right. Let's say hello to the squad. Shireen Bryson, squad up. How are you? Elizabeth Francis, squad up. Terry Faith, squad up. Earth Angel Keisha, squad up. Cordella, squad up. How are you? Dip Fab, Cake Affairs, squad up. Willie L. Williams, what's going on? Elizabeth Francis, squad up. Dion Reed, Wasim Al Sawaha, squad up. And who else we got here? Jessica Leamy, Joelle Davis, Sasha Ford, and Kelly Williams saying hey. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Earth Angel Pert, squad up. Oscar, Ori, Daniel. Good to be watching live from Seattle, Washington. Ooh. All right, welcome. K, God bless, squad up. Robin, Sathi Morthy, waiting for the show, Brad. I apologize. Little technical difficulties, but I think we got everything sorted out now, hopefully.
We're here.
And we are here. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Kaver Harris, squad up. How are you? Susie Q. And Priscilla Lauren Isaac Funez. And Majid Khan saying hello to everybody. All right, Vanessa, hopefully, by the way, every day it just gets heavier and heavier, these cards. But I hope your mic is working. Why don't you and Yo-Yo take it away? Let everyone know what's going to be happening on our show.
Yes, you already know right what time it is. It's time for you guys to schmooze with Brad. Of course, we're about to schmooze with Brad, but it's time for you guys to share. I want you guys to share on all social media platforms. It's super easy, all right? Because we're going to start schmoozing with Brad. We're going to be talking headlines, including new guidelines released today by the Department of Homeland Security about who is to be prioritized for immigration enforcement.
And it's Thursday, right?
Yes, it
Can
is.
we hear me okay?
We do.
Okay, we get wacky with world's news, so we'll be spanning the globe and bring you some eyebrow-raising stories, including one about how looking like singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran has changed one UK man's life.
And of course, you can call to get on our show, 1-800-529-5465. That is the telephone number to call to ask your immigration question of me. That'll be in about 25 minutes when we get to our meat and potatoes of our show. Of course, if you are outside of North America, you can call 212-227-8933. It is also the telephone number for our sponsor, the law offices of Bernstein, in which, ironically, I am the president. 1-800-529-5465. I want to say ironically or coincidentally.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
Yeah.
Just by sheer coincidence. And after, I'm sorry, Vanessa?
I said ironically enough.
Ironically enough and coincidentally enough, correct. And after we do our social media check-in, later in the show, I'm going to speak with director and producer of the award-winning documentary, Me, the Other, which is also a finalist at this year's Astoria Film Festival. Lots of finalists in this show. All right, Bradshaw Live going up against Comedy Central and going up against Bleacher Report. I like Comedy Central. You know, I don't want to say I don't like it. I like it. You know, and I like Bleacher Report. I like Bleacher Report too for the sports. I like it. But I got to tell you something. I love Bradshaw Live. Okay, I can't say I love Comedy Central and Bleacher Report, but I love Bradshaw Live. So hopefully,
I totally agree.
Hopefully others agree. But on the documentary Me, the Other, which is a finalist at this year's Astoria Film Festival, it's about 12 students at the University of Michigan who navigate life's challenges as people who don't feel accepted by society. All right, you ready to schmooze?
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh, the cards are crazy today. Crazy cards. I think instead of calling it Wacky World Thursday, we should call it Crazy Card Thursday. We got a lot of crazy cards here. All right, so good news for undocumented immigrants. You will be able to start sleeping a little better. The Department of Homeland Security under President Joe Biden has announced within the last hour that they are going to officially change. It's been unofficial, so I've been telling clients don't worry, but now it's official. They are officially changing their immigration priorities in terms of who they want to arrest for deportation. And their priorities are this: if you have criminal records, you've committed fraud, you're caught at the border, you are a suspected terrorist, expect to be arrested by the Department of Homeland Security. If you are minding your own business and just happen to have overstayed on your visa, don't expect Department of Homeland Security to be knocking on your door. Don't expect them to be knocking on your door even if you file an application and it gets denied. Don't expect them to be knocking on your door if you have an order of removal, because they will be leaving you alone under these new guidelines. So that's very good news for people who are just trying to make a better life for themselves, good people trying to make a better life for themselves. There's a lot to worry about when you're undocumented. And number one on the list is somebody going to come knock on my door? I'm scared to get pulled over. So in these situations, unless you have a criminal record, unless you have committed fraud with the government, and they are aware of it, unless you are a terrorist threat, or unless you are caught near the border trying to enter the United States, well, for all intents and purposes, the Department of Homeland Security is not going to put you in removal just because you are undocumented. There has to be something more than you are undocumented to be placed in removal. Now, this approach, according to the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, he argues it takes into account the department's limited resources and the fact that a removable non-citizen should not alone be the basis of an enforcement action against them. I am quoting from the head of the Department of Homeland Security. That's not Brad Bernstein's quote. That is Alejandro Mayorkas' quote. A removable, let me say this again because it is important, because there's so many undocumented people in the United States watching right now who are terrified and shouldn't be. A removable non-citizen should not alone be the basis of an enforcement action against them. Basically meaning if you're undocumented, you got to have something more than just being undocumented. The guidelines, according to Alejandro Mayorkas, just as I said, focus on national security, public safety, border security. Mayorkas told reporters, I'm quoting him again, these guidelines don't take a categorical approach. They call for an individualized determination in each case, assess the individual, investigate the facts, understand the totality of the facts and circumstances, and then make a determination whether the individual in fact poses a public safety threat. So this is a completely different approach than what we had under Donald Trump, that if they came across you and you're undocumented, you were getting put in removal. Remember when we were doing our show 3-4 years ago, people were announcing Department of Homeland Security is on 222nd Street, get in your apartment. People were petrified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not the case anymore. So they're taking a more humane approach.
Good.
And they're recognizing that people who may have overstayed on their visa, who are working, who are hardworking people, they're contributing, should not be the ones that law enforcement should be going to separate them from their families, from their jobs, from their employers, from their homes that they've had here for many, many years. So I think that's some good news.
That's great news.
I think they're doing this because they're recognizing there's no plan A and there's no plan B.
Okay.
So they got...
With all your experience, why do you, you've been in the field for so long, why do you feel like this priority took so long?
I think when they realized that plan A and plan B is not happening, and President Biden came into office, the first day in office, he came out with the U.S. Citizenship Act that was basically, I'm going to make everybody's life better, and that went nowhere. And then they talked about the reconciliation package, plan A and plan B, and that went nowhere. And what we have heard, what people are thinking, it's no secret, same old bullshit. Same old bullshit. Whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. Lots of promises, lots of this is going to happen, building people's hopes up, and then life doesn't change. So I think at least it's his way of saying, listen, I'm trying. I don't know, but that's just
That makes sense.
my assessment of it. It's my assessment of it. When I started out, I'll tell you a quick story. When I started out as a immigration lawyer, one of my first clients came to me. And he said, Brad, I just want to go home. I'm tired of being here, and I don't have any money for a plane ticket. So I said, listen, I'm a young lawyer. I don't have any money to give you for a plane ticket either. But what you should do, you're undocumented, go down to 26 Federal Plaza. This was back in 1993. True story. When I first started out, I said, go down to 26 Federal Plaza. It's about 5 blocks from my office. It's where the immigration service is. And tell them you're undocumented. They'll put you in deportation and they'll fly you home on the cost of the government. So, man leaves my office. I said, all right, I'll never see him again. 3 hours later, he's back in my waiting room. I said, what are you doing here? I told you to go down and get yourself deported and the government will fly you home. Free ticket. He says, I went in there. They set me up to the enforcement floor. I told them I'm undocumented. I want to be deported. And I want to go home. And they said to me, we're too busy. You've done nothing wrong. Go home. And what I learned throughout the whole 90s, it's a true story. What I learned throughout the whole 90s as an immigration attorney is government's not going to deport you unless you've done something wrong. And then it changed. It changed around 9/11. And then once 9/11 happened, we became a much bigger security state. And it just stepped up year after year after year in terms of the security state, whether it's local police being armed with military gear, whether it's now a Department of Homeland Security that didn't even exist. ICE didn't exist before 9/11. Perhaps Joe Biden is trying to make it a little nicer America now, bringing us back to the 90s rather than the Trump era.
You gotta appreciate
so
that.
maybe. Yeah. But true story, Vanessa. You believe that? Guy's back in my office 3 hours later.
I'm intrigued by the story. It makes perfect sense that 9/11 is a huge turning point for our homeland security.
Yeah.
I was there in the 90s, but I was too small to remember. And yeah, when you make that point, it's insane, the growth.
Yeah, I sent him in the morning and in the afternoon. He's back in my waiting room. Go, what are you doing here, man?
What did he expect you to do after that? Like find another way?
Well, you want to know what? Ultimately, the funny thing is, my recollection is he got married a few years later, ended up with a green card. He's probably a U.S. citizen now.
So he was able to go back and forth.
So lucky him that he decided.
And we hope he's watching.
I hope he is. He was, I started off in the Jamaican community, so I remember. I don't remember his name, but I remember he was a Jamaican guy. But it was, but always laugh about that story.
That's so funny.
Yeah. All right. So meanwhile, the House just approved a stopgap funding. By the way, Congress has to pass 4 bills like immediately. Are you aware of this? They have to, which they just passed the stopgap funding bill because, Vanessa, the beginning of the government year is tomorrow. The government runs October 1st to October 1st, not January. The U.S. government, for whatever reason, does not follow the Gregorian calendar. They're 3 months ahead. So 2022 for the United States government starts October 1st, 2021. No budget has been passed yet. So if they didn't pass a stopgap financial measure, the U.S. government comes to a halt at midnight tonight. The House just passed, within the last few hours, a stopgap funding to fund the government through December 3rd. Just to fund it. They still don't have a budget. They have 3 more things they need to do. The reconciliation, which is the budget. That is the actual budget to fund everything. Okay, now we know that Plan A and Plan B immigration, it's out. But they still need to pass, the Democrats, the reconciliation bill. And if they're not able to do it, with the stimulus portions, the social programs that they want to give, which is education, preschool, expanded Medicaid, they're not going to get money in people's pockets that they need to vote for them in 2022. It's going to be a bloodbath for the Democrats. And right now, they don't have their act together. So we don't know. They got to pass that. And they have till now December 3rd. Maybe immigration will come back by then. Because they were saying they had to pass it by September 27th, the reconciliation, because the government needed to start October 1st. So they funded the government to December 3rd. So now they push the ball down. The reconciliation now has to be done by December 3rd. Maybe immigration comes back. I hope it does. Who knows? Okay. They got to pass in October 18th the debt ceiling. There's a debt ceiling that the United States cannot borrow any more money. They can't. Borrowing money from the United States is basically they print it. Okay.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what they do, right? They print it, but they can't borrow any more money after October 18th. The United States will not be able to pay its debts. Can you imagine you're waiting for a check from the U.S. government, whether you do business with the government, you're waiting on your Social Security, disability, who knows?
And that's what they.
Everything's going to start bouncing October 18th because we're going to reach our debt ceiling.
Yikes.
Okay, talk about dropping not into a recession. That would be a depression worldwide. Now, think about the debt ceiling as it's not paying for future things. It's paying for things that you've already bought. Okay, so this is stuff that the United States borrowed money against to pay their debts. They got to pay back. It's like paying back their credit card. You know, you charge the credit card's due October 18th. They don't pay October 18th, it's going to be a disaster. The Republicans refuse to increase the debt ceiling. So they're going to leave it for the Democrats to destroy the U.S. economy so they can get back into power unless the Democrats can figure out how to come together to pass the debt ceiling on October 18th, plus the infrastructure bill that already passed the Senate with 19 Republican senators, plus their $3.5 trillion reconciliation. They got to do all of this in the next month. Jeez. And right now, the Democratic Party, it's an absolute disaster. The progressives say they will not vote for anything. The moderates say they will not vote for anything the progressives want. The progressives won't vote for it. It's like the Republicans and Democrats fighting it, but they're all fighting amongst themselves.
Right. Gotta get it together, y'all.
Get it together, Democrats. And all I hear, it's funny. What you hear out of the White House is, don't worry, Joe Biden knows how to count votes. Well, I'm glad he knows how to count votes. Right. All right. But it's not about counting votes. It's about getting them to vote in the right way.
Right.
Meanwhile, new Supreme Court term starts Monday, October 4th. Here's some more trifling news. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, she's one of the 3 liberal justices. She said a lot of people are going to be disappointed in the Supreme Court. It is going to veer way, way, way to the right. And they have a lot of cases coming up that could invalidate Roe versus Wade. They have a case coming up that could literally invalidate Roe versus Wade and make abortion illegal in America. They have a case about Second Amendment rights. New York City prevents people from carrying a gun with a license from other parts of the country that they say is a violation of the Second Amendment. So then all of a sudden now guns could possibly be pouring in to cities that are trying to prevent gun violence. There is a lot at stake here. And unless there is a surprise by one of the conservative justices, which happens sometimes in the history of the Supreme Court, a lot of times conservative justices swing liberal after they don't have to deal with the politics of getting onto the Supreme Court. Hopefully that happens with one of them. Now, earlier this month, Sotomayor penned a scathing opinion when the court's majority allowed Texas law to go into effect. That court's order is stunning. That was the Texas law banning abortion in Texas. She said, presented with an application to join a flagrantly unconstitutional law engineered to prohibit women from exercising their constitutional rights and evade judicial scrutiny, a majority of the justices have opted to bury their heads in the sand. So I think we're going to have a very trifling season.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Very, very trifling season in the Supreme Court. And did you see President Obama is starting his presidential library?
I did.
In Chicago. Yeah, he and First Lady, they broke ground. I don't know which day. It was just the other day. And
I think on Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday in Jackson Park, Illinois. I don't know Chicago well. Where is Jackson Park? Is that like the Central Park of Chicago?
I'm not sure, but I know that he's
is that like a big
in
park
South.
there?
He's in South Chicago, like by Hyde Park. So this might be close to it. I'm not sure.
I'm not. I've only been to Chicago once in my life, so I'm not. It's the South Side.
That's
Yeah, you're right. That's where
his house is.
Yeah. Now, Obama said one lesson he learned in Chicago is that progress begins from the ground up, and that remains true today, despite the potential for such community engagement to get contentious. Michelle Obama, a South Shore native, also said the groundbreaking was one step toward equalizing her childhood neighborhood's access to world-class institutions and resources with that of the North Side. Before the couple addressed the public, Obama's former vice president, current commander-in-chief, Joe Biden, gave a shout-out on a videotaped message. And the Obamas were joined at the event by Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. I will tell you one thing, because I read some of the quotes. I read some of the quotes from Obama. He's a really good speaker.
He is.
I mean, he's
is.
still inspiring. You know, just he's inspiring. Building a building, he inspires you. You know,
he's just he's a cool guy.
Very good orator. Very good speaker. And then there's a new tell-all book. Of course, it's not the only tell-all book. There's about 50 of them now about the pumpkin.
Oh, gosh.
This one from Stephanie Grisham, who served as President Donald Trump's press secretary and the First Lady Melania Trump's chief of staff. So this was his press secretary. Ripping him apart.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Ripping him apart. Now, according to excerpts from the book, remember when Donald Trump went to the hospital, to Walter Reed Medical Center, somewhere in the middle of his presidency?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thought he was
And
having a
everybody
heart
thought
attack.
He had a heart attack.
Remember that?
Yeah, so she's going to say what happened in it?
Yes, it was not a heart attack.
What was it?
A colonoscopy. But he didn't want anyone to know he was getting anything stuck up his tuchus. And he didn't want Mike Pence to know he was getting a colonoscopy because you have to be put under anesthesia. And if you are put under anesthesia, you have to pass on presidential powers to the vice president, and he refused to do it. He wouldn't even under anesthesia for 30-minute colonoscopy.
That man
pass.
is wild.
Yeah. He also said that Trump hated being the butt of the jokes on the late night TV shows. He hated it. Right. He also hated being called the pumpkin up Rancho Luck. No, that was not. That was not in the book.
Not in the book.
No. And Grisham, she began working for the Trump campaign in 2015, and then she became the press secretary for Trump, and then she became Melania's chief of staff. He also
Wait, what the heck? I'm like reading into
okay, well, I mean, it's a Trump, it's a hump day thing.
Yeah,
but
how the heck does she know
this? Now, Grisham says Trump called her while aboard Air Force One to dispute Stormy Daniels' description of his penis. Can you imagine this? He calls this woman who works for him and says, listen, I want to talk to you about my penis. It's not what Stormy Daniels is saying. Now, you remember Stormy Daniels said it was small, it was mushroom, it was disgusting, it was deformed.
She had a lot to say.
Yes, she had a lot to say about his penis. So in the book, Daniels describes Donald Trump describing his penis as smaller than average, but not freakishly small. She writes, he knows he has an unusual penis. It does have a mushroom head. That's what Trump said. Do we need to know this? Daniels said that about, well, how would Daniels know that about
That's
Trump
what I'm saying.
unless Trump told her?
No, Stormy Daniels.
Right.
You're talking about Stormy
Right, I
Daniels
understand
said
that. Stormy Daniels, but Trump said, Grisham, all right, you have to stop talking in my ear. Grisham said that Trump disputed all of this, but we all know what it is.
Yeah, so like she wasn't under any kind of contract, like, you know, an NDA or anything.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows what? I guess not.
How are you not when you're the press secretary?
I don't know. All that Trump's spokesperson said is that Grisham's account is a pitiful attempt to cash in on the president's strength and sell lies about the Trump family. Meanwhile, there's more than 437 million confirmed coronavirus cases and more than 696,000 deaths. Worldwide, there's more than 233 million cases and more than 4.7 million deaths. The CDC says that if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, you should get vaccinated. That's scary for a pregnant woman to get vaccinated. But they say because the benefits of vaccination outweigh any known risks. That's the key word. The known risks. It's the unknown risks we don't know about yet. Now, they say only 31% of pregnant people have been vaccinated, but there have been more than 125,000 laboratory-confirmed COVID cases in pregnant people, more than 22,000 of those pregnant people have been hospitalized, and 161 pregnant people have died
Yikes.
of COVID. So what they're saying is you play the odds. There are no known risks to the baby at the present time from a COVID vaccine, but there are risks to the baby if you get COVID. There's also risks to you being pregnant if you get COVID. The question becomes, what is the unknown?
Right.
Okay, there's no known risks, but what are the unknown risks? You don't know. All I can tell you is talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
Right? We can't tell you what to do. All right, it's Wacky World News. All right, first thing I got to tell you is I hate cruise ships. You like cruise ships?
No, I don't.
Are you a cruise ship person, Vanessa?
I only went on one once, and I
you
didn't mind it.
Oh, I couldn't. I can stand it. But fans, people love cruise ships. Some people love it. So cruise ship fans in search of high-speed thrills now have something to look forward to on Norwegian Cruise Line. They revealed the jaw-dropping amenities on board its latest ship, the Norwegian Prima. Due to set sail in August 2022, the Norwegian Prima has become the cruise line's most in-demand ship ever. Perhaps the biggest showstopper aboard will be the Prima Speedway, the largest and first ever 3-level go-kart racetrack at sea.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty cool to have a go-kart racetrack at sea.
That's cool.
It stretches 1,378 feet, which is 420 meters, features 14 sharp turns. It could accommodate 15 racers simultaneously. The go-karts can hit speeds of up to 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
Be very careful around those hairpin turns, because if you crash through the gates, you're overboard. I hope not.
I'm sure they.
I'm sure they figured that one out. Now, thrill seekers also want to experience the drop, dubbed the world's first free-fall dry slide. This is basically Six Flags on the sea, right?
Yeah.
So they have the world's first free-fall dry slide to be offered by a cruise line. It's a 10-story plunge slide that takes passengers rushing down the side of the ship.
Wow.
Wow. Experiencing the highest G-force of any comparable experience in the cruise industry. Those who want to add a competitive twist to the free-fall experience can try the Rush, which will allow 2 guests to speed down at the same exact time. They also have the world's first 3-story cruise ship theater that can be transformed into a Vegas-style nightclub with an expansive dance floor. In addition to large musical performances, the theater will host interactive reality game shows, familiar to audiences, such as The Price is Right. They will have an indoor virtual gaming complex. It will have Topgolf Swing Suite, which is a golf simulator, immersive golf simulator at sea, an aqua park, a main pool area, a tidal wave pool. How the heck is this thing going to even float?
That's a lot.
The Norwegian will also have a lot of outdoor space. The Ocean Boulevard will include the concourse and outdoor sculpture garden. There's an infinity beach, a seaside walkway with 2 infinity pools. Ocean Walk features 2 glass bottom bridges that hang over the ocean, along with the La Teresa, which will be an open-air lounge area. Can you imagine being the captain of this boat?
I actually don't
captain
mind.
stupid in this boat? You're like, wow, this is a big boat.
I don't mind trying this, even though I don't like cruises.
You would do this one?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
You would do this one? Now, it also has the largest variety of suite categories available at sea, 13. Those include 107 suites at the Haven, spread over 8 decks and only accessible by an ultra-premium key card. That's where you would be, with the exclusive suite area.
Absolutely.
Right? And this exclusive section of the ship has its own infinity pool, an outdoor spa, and a glass wall sauna. It also has an adults-only area.
Hey.
Does that entice you, Vanessa, the Norwegian cruise line that we just gave a huge commercial to?
I must say, I'm enticed. I've been on Carnival cruises. Virgin cruises look cool, but this Norwegian,
It sounds fun.
I did the Disney cruise once.
Oh. That had
my
to be
kids,
with your family.
with my family.
I mean, I like Disney, so I wouldn't mind it, but This right here is probably more of my jam.
I spent 3/4 of the day running around the cruise ship looking for Mickey Mouse.
Oh, okay.
There was no relaxation. Where the heck is his mouse?
Yeah.
I gotta find him.
It's a Disney cruise. He should be like on all corners.
He should be, but he's always hiding. On this particular cruise, Mickey was hiding. We had to go all over looking for him.
Everyone in the squad, just take a second and try to picture Uncle Brad on a cruise ship. Maybe, your kids are 18, right? So like 10, 12 years ago.
Exactly.
That's too funny.
Meanwhile, there's an Ed Sheeran lookalike in the UK, and he's having big problems. Ty Jones grew up.
Oh, snap. Wait.
Yeah. Ty Jones grew up believing he'd never accomplish his dreams of becoming an entertainer until he realized he looks exactly like Ed Sheeran.
I don't know which one isn't him.
Now the Manchester, UK native works as a full-time lookalike and aspiring actor, but looking so similar to the celebrity musician has come with some drawbacks, namely how obsessed Sheeran fans base is with him. As a dead ringer for Sheeran, Jones often has to deal with the fan base obsessing over him. Jones told the Jam Press that he does look like him, right?
I don't know which one isn't him.
That's Ed. Okay, wait. Which one? Ed Sheeran is the one
I feel like
who is under the Bradshaw Live logo,
I feel
and
like
the
that's
lookalike is under the Schmoozing logo.
The only reason why I feel
Would
that
you
is
say that?
The only reason why is because of his tattoo on his arm. That's the only reason why I would
Does
think
anybody know who's right here? Who's the correct person?
They look exactly alike.
Sheeran. Oh, I was wrong then.
Snap. What?
Snap.
Okay, I thought so. He's on the left, no?
Sheeran's in the white T-shirt.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I thought so. He's in the
I said Sheeran was in the black.
I said Sheeran was in the black.
Damn.
I'm like a real Ed Sheeran fan.
Oh,
like,
see, I don't really.
By the way, he's a very nice guy. I was looking for a picture because Jill asked me earlier. I couldn't find it on my phone, but a very nice guy. I was walking about 2 or 3 years ago on 57th Street, and he came out of an SUV, and I didn't know who the heck he was because I don't know anybody. But my daughter said, "That's Ed Sheeran." And she went over and said, "Hey, can I take a selfie with you?" And he took my daughter's phone, and he did the selfie himself.
That's nice.
So he was a very nice guy. He didn't have to. I mean, he was just somebody walking on the street.
He should take one with his new twin.
All right, now this is remember the banana art on the wall? Remember the banana? Mm-hmm. Right, that sold for $25,000. Mm-hmm. And then remember Banksy? Mm-hmm. He destroyed his art, and that one, the destroyed art, and that one sold for $12 million. Well, now take a load of this one. This is great. I think this one takes the cake. There's an artist who was hired by a Danish art museum to make a piece of art, and the art was going to be $84,000 in euros pasted to a canvas, and then they were going to put a frame on it, and that was going to be the art. And he was commissioned by this museum to do it. He made a deal with the museum. You have to give me the 84,000 euros so I can put it on the canvas. I'm not going to go out and, to the bank and pull out 84,000 euros and do it. So, but when the Kunsten Museum of Modern Art in Albang took delivery of this creation, they had a surprise. They opened it up and the frames were empty. Rather being the handiwork of thieves, they first thought all the money was stolen by thieves. The cash was missing thanks to the artist himself. His name is Hanning, who said he decided to keep the money in the name of art. Hanning told the museum in an email, the text of which is now displayed next to the empty frames, "I have chosen to make a new work for the exhibition. Instead of showing the two 14 and 11-year-old works respectively, the work is based on response to both your exhibition concept and works that we had originally planned to show. The new conceptual piece, Take the Money and Run, is now at the center of dispute between the museum and the artist over labor, contractual obligations, and the value of work, as well as lending the $84,000 for the cash-filled artwork. The museum also agreed to pay him $1,500 for his work, as well as covering the cost for the framing. But the artist said the project would still have left him out of pocket, and he decided to change the art. And he said the new art is just an empty frame, and he took the cash.
And I bet you people will still go to that art
hilarious?
exhibit. No, that's horrible.
Is that? I mean, it's hilarious and horrible at the same time. I mean, it just takes art to the lowest level possible. And finally, the Loch Ness Monster may very well have been inadvertently captured on camera with modern day technology.
Ooh. Do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster?
No. Richard Maver, an outdoorsman from the UK, because the Loch Ness Monster's been around for about 400 years. Wouldn't this monster have died already? They've been saying, unless this is the baby of the, I don't know. But Richard Maver, an outdoorsman from the UK, claims to have filmed the legendary beast on a drone camera while putting together a vlog of himself canoeing in Scotland's Great Lake. In the clip, the moment the would-be Loch Ness Monster shows up happens around the 3-minute and 50-second mark when Rick's drone is hovering above him and his buddies along the south shore of Loch Ness. Right below the waterline, you see something start to surface.
And it's super close to shore.
Let's see. What do you see? Can we see it one more time? I wasn't looking clearly.
I think it's easier to see in the snapshot.
I don't see anything.
You see a long,
something long.
But then you can see in the snapshot once they put
like a shadow. It's kind of
see?
like a
Do you think this is the Loch Ness Monster, Vanessa?
Look at that.
It's 2021. A lot of things can be true at this point.
Right.
Why would the Loch Ness Monster show up now? I mean,
Loch Ness Monster has been showing up.
Why would he show up now?
Why not? There was a global pandemic. Why not keep thinking that there's a bunch of things that we can't explain around?
I don't know. Well, it didn't look like a very intimidating monster to me. It was just kind of floating around there. The Loch Ness Monster is supposed to come out and be intimidating and, and scare you.
Right.
This thing is just kind of floating on the bottom. I don't know. You think this is baby Loch Ness Monster?
I don't think so.
Like they say, like son of Frankenstein? This is son of Loch Ness Monster?
Son of Nessie.
I don't know. All right. That's our Wacky World News. We got to get into our Braducation. In today's Braducation, I explain why you should never give the police permission to search your car, even if they tell you it will make your arrest more difficult if they have to get a warrant. My goal is straightforward, to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your decriminalization Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. When a police officer has probable cause that a crime is being committed by you, the officer has a right to arrest you. This notion of probable cause comes from the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution. It protects people from unreasonable search and seizures. It is not a guarantee against all searches, but just those that are unreasonable. Do the cops have a right to search your car or truck if you get pulled over? If a police officer pulls you over or approaches your vehicle, provide the paperwork they ask for. But if they ask to search your vehicle, whether you have something to hide or not, your answer should always be no. No, you cannot search my vehicle. Your right is that the police cannot search your vehicle. You may notice that the police sometimes, when they stop your vehicle, look through the windows. It's because they're only allowed to search your car if they have reasonable suspicion that a crime is being committed based on what they see in plain sight. So if you have nothing in plain sight in your car, whatever they find would not be admissible in court because it was an illegal search, and the case against you would be thrown out of court. That is why the police always ask for permission to search your car. If you give them permission, it's no longer an illegal search. You invited the police to search your car. And if you are inside the vehicle and they find something incriminating, and maybe you're just the passenger in the car, whatever they find, even if it has nothing to do with you, you are still criminally liable for what is discovered. So that is why everyone in the car should say no to a police search. If 1 of 4 people in a car says yes, then the police are invited to search, and you never know what the police may find. If the police tell you it will make your arrest more difficult for you if they have to get a warrant, well, then they're usually bluffing. It means they most likely do not have probable cause to search your vehicle in the first place. But everyone says I'm afraid, and if I don't cooperate, the law will come down tougher on me because I did not allow them to search my vehicle. Well, let me be the first to tell you that if the police find something illegal in your car truck, you will be treated the same way whether you gave them permission or they had to get a warrant. But as I said, if you don't give them permission to search your car and they don't have a warrant to search your car and they find something illegal that is not in plain sight, then you are in a better position because your case is likely to get thrown out in court. All right, let's get into our meat and potatoes. You got an immigration question. I will give you my answer. Poor Mo, waiting over 1 hour in Queens, Mo. I got you, Mo. What's going on?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. What's going on? Excuse me. How can I help you?
I have a question, sir. Yes. I applied for U visa in 2016, 7th June. It's almost 5 years, 4 months, but I have not heard anything from them, and I don't have a work permit. I am just struggling and passing very distressed and very mentally upset life,
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple things. One, you should be hearing from them very shortly. I know that we've done U visa applications that were filed in 2016. We're hearing from them. So the fact that you haven't heard from 2015, I'm a little concerned. I'm not overly concerned, a little concerned. Number two, they are changing the regulations. They should be sending you, hopefully that you filed a well-documented U visa, then you would get a bona fide determination and be able to apply for a work permit. If you are struggling now, you can request a work permit based on humanitarian reasons as well. You don't have to wait for that bona fide determination. Anybody can request a work permit on a pending U visa if it's pending more than 6 months based on humanitarian reasons. I'm a little concerned that it's been 2015 and you still haven't heard. I would contact immigration or speak to your lawyer or come see me or whatever you want, but I would follow up on that U visa application now.
Okay, sir. I'll try to get an appointment.
Okay.
And do you think that I can apply for your work permit in humanitarian ground, right, sir?
Yes, possibly. We would have to talk about it. But the answer is yes, you can do it. Whether it would be approved, we would have to figure out what what we can say. But hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Let's go to Francis in Orlando.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Francis.
How you doing?
Good.
I really want to say thank you for everything you're doing. I really appreciate it. I follow your program a lot, and I really want to say a very big thank you for everything you're doing.
That's really nice.
Yeah,
thank you.
I have 2 questions, please.
Yes.
The first one is this. Just let me give you a brief, very quick rundown. I got married in last year in June, and in July, and I got abused. I applied for VAWA, and I got a prima facie in February, and I got a work permit as well. Now, this is my question to you. I and my wife, we now coming back together, and we came back to live together 2 months ago, and she has completely changed. She's now.
How has she changed? Why do you think? I mean, she's changed over the last 2 months, but has she gone for therapy? What makes you believe she's going to change over the long term? Just out of curiosity.
In November, I moved out of the house, and we were apart until June, and we came back together, started talking, and she apologized for everything, and we started living together again, and she has she doesn't have that kind of attitude and that kind of stuff towards me anymore.
Okay. I hope that continues.
Yeah, and right now I'm so much in love with her again, and I really want.
That's really nice to hear.
Do you think I can withdraw the VAWA to file the I-130 right now?
I would. Did you file an adjustment with the VAWA?
Yes, I did all that. Yes.
Yeah, I would. I mean, you can withdraw the VAWA. You can, probably the fastest thing you can do, believe it or not, is withdraw the VAWA and the adjustment and then refile a new adjustment, because if you just file an I-130 only with the adjustment, they're still not going to schedule you an appointment until the I-130 is approved. That's going to take over a year. Then you get to the back of the line on the adjustment. You're actually better off, and it's faster for you, just the way I know that the government works. Withdraw the VAWA and the adjustment, suck up the filing fee. You'll have to pay a new adjustment fee, and then file a new adjustment with the I-130. That will be the fastest way for you to get your green card.
Okay, all right.
By the way, I pray and hope everything works out for you.
Yeah, I pray so as well. You know, it's kind of. A lot of people are telling me something else, and
because what people don't know, they're not there. They're not, in your life. They're not hearing what your wife is saying. They're not hearing what you're saying. They're not hearing the interaction between the two of you. So you have to be smart about it. What people are probably saying is, zebras don't change their stripes. 2 months, let's see what happens in 2 years from now. So that's why I asked. That's why I asked only, what has she done to change, other than she realizes her mistakes. Perhaps it would be smart to go for counseling, but that's up to you.
Right. And she wants to start the anger management and all this.
Good.
So that's why I have that belief and all those stuff.
So if she's going to do something with anger management, because anger management is just, changing behavior. It's changing learned behavior. She learned to, lash out from, maybe watching her parents or whatever. But so if she goes through that anger management and she learns to readjust her behavior, then yeah, obviously you guys can have a very happy marriage.
Okay, but USA, there will be no problem in terms of converting back from VAWA to I-130. There will be no problem.
No, and if they have any questions, yes, my wife, you'll tell them exactly what you just laid out to me here.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I don't want to take much of your time. All right. God bless. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And best of luck. Let's go to David in San Diego, California. David.
Hey.
Hi, David.
Thanks. Nice to meet you. I'm so happy to meet you.
I'm happy to speak with you as well. What can I do to help you?
Yeah, I just came to America, so I'm among the people that came through the border. So I have my fiance when I was in Brazil. We get married this year. But when we go to the lawyer, he was telling me that after filing our I-130, he was telling me that I will go back to my country.
How did you? Let me understand. You said you crossed the border, right? You didn't come with a visa.
Yeah.
Okay, and your spouse is not in the military or former military, correct?
My spouse is a U.S. citizen.
Your spouse is a U.S. citizen, but not in the military.
He's in America. We are living together.
But not in the military?
No.
Okay. All right. So are you in a same-sex marriage? I heard you say he.
What
David? David.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you from? Let's start there.
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay. And are you married to a woman or a man? Because I think I heard you say he, but I could be wrong.
I'm married to a woman.
You're married to a woman. Okay. Yeah. So you're married to an American citizen. You came across the border without inspection. Your spouse is not in the U.S. military. She's not in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, correct?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the answer is if you entered without inspection, you have no entry, and your spouse is not in the military or former military, and you or your parents never had anything filed before April 2001, which perhaps would make you 245I eligible, you would have to do a provisional waiver to go home and come back. That is correct.
All right, sir.
All right. But make sure you leave with a waiver, David.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yeah.
All right.
I hope you can help me to do that.
I can. Hold on one second. I'm glad he said that because I'm not sure he fully understands everything I said. So he should have a consultation. Yes. Azam in Brooklyn.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Brett?
Good. What's going on?
My I-130 case status changed today. Case is being actively reviewed by UCIS. But I still didn't have interview. So what does that mean?
Azam. It means exactly what it says. It's being actively reviewed. It means it's on somebody's desk and they're looking at it. And eventually, you'll get an interview.
Okay. And I have another question. Can
Yes.
I expedite my I-765?
Uh-huh. What, can you expedite it, you asked?
Yes. 765.
If you can get a letter from your employer saying they're going to let you go, if you don't get a work authorization, you can request an expedite for that reason.
But I do not have work authorization right now. It's my first one.
Okay, so in that particular case, you would not be able to, but hopefully you'll get it shortly.
Okay. I really appreciate you.
All right.
Thank
Okay,
you so
good
much.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Let's go to Daniel in Felipe, West Virginia. Daniel.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, what's going on?
Well, the reason I'm calling, my daughter is a K-2 visa holder.
Mhm.
She came in with her mother
Mhm.
to the United States,
Mhm.
and that was 2 years ago. Now she's going to college. We're just about to file the adjustment of status for her, but the college said they need the I-20 because
Are
she's...
you the stepfather?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, you in order to go to college, they're asking for a student visa. She can't get a student visa because she would have to go back to her home country to get it, and if she goes back to her home country, she would have a 10-year bar. So she's not going to, or perhaps not have a 10-year bar, but she came on the K-2. You just need to file the adjustment application for her. She's not going to get a student visa now. It would require her to go home, and then she would have all sorts of issues with immigrant intent also. So you're going to file an adjustment application for her. You'll file an I-765 work permit. With that work permit and social, most colleges, but not all, would accept her with the work permit and social security number. You would have to pay full tuition. When she gets her green card, that's when she can get government assistance.
Okay, the problem is, though, when she got enrolled into school, they forced us to do the I-20.
But there's no reason to do that. Okay.
Well, we went for a private loan for it, and the private loan company won I-20, and even have a bank account in the I-20
Okay,
loan
all
for
right. So
students.
nobody's forcing you to do anything. First of all, you're just following what people are telling you to do, so your daughter can get to college. And what I'm telling you to,
Yes.
and what I'm saying is, you're doing it all wrong. Okay. What you should have done in the past, and what you should be doing at this very moment. Forget I-20. It's about getting a student visa. People are giving you bad advice because they just say, oh, student visa, you need an I-20 to get the loan because people are just wearing blinders. Your daughter came on a K-2 as an accompanying to your wife on a K-1. She needs to adjust her status to get a green card. You need to file an I-45, an I-130, an I-864, an I-765. With that I-765, she would get a work permit and social, and then hopefully she would be able to get into school with the private.
All right, I guess I would file adjustment status.
Correct. Do that immediately.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Even though she's got the I-20 filed already.
It doesn't matter. It's just forget
Doesn't
that
matter?
and file the
Okay.
adjustment.
All right, we'll do.
All right, good luck.
Thank you. All right, bye.
All right, let's go to Ali in Chicago.
Hi, Brad. How are you
How
doing?
are you?
I'm good, thank you. I have a quick question, actually. I had my interview after 19 months of my marriage, but I received a 10 years green card. So is it possible, or what it is actually?
Well, anything's possible, but if you got your green card in less than 2 years of your marriage, immigration made an error. Now, this is the problem, okay? People are like, oh, I'm not going to tell them. I have a 10-year card. I don't have to do anything. But the fact is, okay, when you go to, two things are going to happen. You're going to have a problem in the future if you don't fix it now. And that problem's going to be, you're either going to file for your citizenship at some point, And when you file for your citizenship, the immigration officer who will manually review your case will realize that you got a 10-year card when you should have gotten a 2-year card. And then they're going to deny your citizenship, and then they're going to say you don't even have lawful permanent residence right now because you should have removed the conditions of your permanent residence, even though how would you know to do this if they give you a 10-year card? And you're going to totally get screwed. Okay? The other thing that may happen is you never file for your citizenship, and in 10 years from now, you go to renew your green card. And then somebody who manually reviews your case will say, this person should never have gotten a 10-year card. It should have been a 2-year card. They're going to deny your 10-year card and tell you you have no lawful status. So what you need to do now is you honestly need to fix it so you have no problems in the future. And the way you fix it is you do an I-90. You do not have to pay a fee because it's their error, not yours. And you return the green card and say, I'm returning it because I should have gotten a 2-year card, not a 10-year card. Please replace it with the correct card. And then 90 days before the 2-year anniversary, you're going to file to remove the conditions. You may not like my advice, but if you don't follow what I tell you to do, you're going to be in a whole heap of poop down the line.
Okay. No issues. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody wanted to hear that. He wants to hear, I want to keep my 10-year card. But you can't. Jack in New Iberia, Louisiana.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
Good, Brad. Hey, Brad, I applied for my VAWA in 2018.
Right.
And it's been more than 3 years. And recently, I took help of my congressman. And I got a response from USCIS saying that your case is still under review and it could be denied. Your candidate has submitted a substantial likelihood of being victim of abuse that could constitute the minimum requirement.
Jack. You can't read a whole letter to me on the air. Okay, everybody will fall asleep watching. Okay, I understand. All right, you went to a congressman. You're waiting on your VAWA for 3 years, and the congressman wrote a letter. Now, let me fill you in on a secret. You go to your congressman because it makes you feel better that you're trying to do something. But the reality is your congressman, your senator, it doesn't matter, any legislator cannot do anything to make your case go faster. All they do is they write a letter, and then immigration writes you a letter saying your case is pending. It's just busy work. They write a letter, immigration writes a letter, doesn't make your case go any faster. And the reason is because Congress doesn't control Department of Homeland Security. The only person who controls the Department of Homeland Security is the head of the Department of Homeland Security and then his boss, President Biden. So if you do Biden or the head of the Department of Homeland Security, yeah, maybe it would go faster. But going to your congressman is just making you feel better. They make you feel better saying, yes, we're going to write a letter. But nothing ever happens from that. It's just they write a letter, immigration writes a letter, and your case is your case, and immigration will decide it when they feel like deciding it. Now, I can tell you, VAWA cases are taking 3 years. So it's not unusual that it's 3 years and they haven't decided yet. What you can do, if you choose to, and this is the only thing that works to try to make immigration make a decision, is to threaten a mandamus or file a mandamus. A mandamus is a federal litigation. You go into court, you tell a federal judge, immigration's violating my rights. I have a right to a decision in a reasonable amount of time. 3 years is unreasonable. Tell them to make a decision. Or you can threaten that. And many times when you threaten it without even going to court, they will make a decision. Now, some people say, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to piss them off because then they're going to deny me. But it's actually the opposite because they now recognize that you know how to enforce your rights. So if they violate your rights by denying a case that should be approved, they know they're in for a fight. So it actually works the opposite. When you do it, they're actually more careful to make sure that everything is done properly. That's the only thing you can do to speed up your case. Go to your congressman till you can go to every congressman, up and down, all 435, all 100 senators. They'll write letters. Immigration will write you a letter, not making your case go faster.
And Brad, I have another question.
Yes.
Can I apply for advance parole? Go back to my country and
Can
come
you
back?
apply for what? Advance parole?
Advance parole?
Do you have a pending adjustment of status right now?
Yeah.
Okay, if you have a
I
pending...
have a work permit.
Okay, yes, if you have a work permit, you can apply for advance parole. You should have already. If you didn't, you should do it now. You file an I-131. There's no cost to it because you filed the adjustment application. They will mail you an advance parole. You can travel home, absolutely 100% safe. My advice is always don't stay out for more than a month.
Okay. So how long it's going to take to get my advance parole?
Probably about 4 to 6 months.
46 months?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you should have done it 2.5
Okay,
years
Brad.
ago, but do it now. It's better than never.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, Brad.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Good
really
luck.
appreciate that.
All right. I'm just the messenger, you know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go to Armando in Dallas, Texas.
Hello.
Hi, Armando.
Brad.
Hi, Armando.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I'm in an employment-based perm process. My priority date is November 2019.
Right.
I already received the combo card, but it expired in May. I renewed it before in March, but now my attorney is telling me, like the company attorney is telling me that I should file for an H-1B extension, which I did.
Why would you need to? You don't need to do that if you have a. It sounds like you have a pending adjustment of status.
Yes, that's what I'm.
Yeah, so if you have a pending adjustment of status, you don't need to do an H-1B. Sounds like the attorney's just trying to make work for himself.
Yeah, because he's trying to make me pay for the premium processing fee.
I think there's no reason to do an H-1B. All right, as long as you were in legal status on an H-1B, you filed the adjustment, you're in a legitimate job offer. Why waste the money on an H-1B? You're perfectly fine. You don't need it.
Okay, even though my combo card it's expired and I applied in March to renew it, but I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, you have 180 days to legally work after. So maybe that's why your lawyer is telling you to do the H-1B so you could legally work. But the fact but when is your H-1B up?
It was up on June 2021.
So you couldn't file for it anyway now because it's already expired.
No, I already did. I already did.
If you filed for the extension of the H-1B, you're legally allowed to work for another 180 days. So don't worry about it then.
Yeah, but it's like the deadline is in March, and he's telling me you should probably pay for the pre-process fee.
No, why? You have two things. Number one, you have a pending combo card, which should be approved momentarily. Okay? You then made an extension on your H-1B in June. As soon as you file that extension, you are legal to be working for your current employer till they make a decision for up to 180 days. That gives you to the Christmas time. Okay? So you do premium processing. They'll make a decision in 14 days. Why do it now? Let's see what happens. You'll probably get your work permit, or they'll send you an approval without having to pay that within the next couple weeks. Worst comes to worst, mid-November, you could always do the premium processing.
Okay, I will. Thank you, Brad.
Okay.
Right.
Let's go to Ann in Long Island.
Mr. Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm actually I was trying to look about my social security because I got the green card, but I didn't get my.
I lost you, Ann. Say that again. Ann, going once. We'll see if we can get Ann back again. Let's go to Sasha in Kingston. Sasha. Is it me? Oh, could it be me? My thing was out. Sasha in Kingston. Sasha. We don't hear anything from Sasha either. See if we can get Sasha back. Let's go to Daniel in Baltimore. Daniel in Baltimore. I don't hear anything from Daniel in Baltimore.
Hello.
Oh, Daniel in Baltimore. There you are. What's going on?
How you doing, Brad?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thanks for the good job you're doing.
My pleasure. What can I do to help you today?
I'm in a messy situation. I just want to save my chances. I have a DUI, pending DUI case. I have a pending deportation case, and I have a pending VAWA case.
And you want to know your chances. Well, if you have, as long as the DUI, when the DUI may affect the approval of your VAWA, because if you're convicted of a DUI, that could be bad moral character. In order to get approved for VAWA, you need to be able to prove good moral character, abuse, and valid marriage. So that could affect your VAWA. If your VAWA is denied, now you need a different application in removal. Now everything rests on the DUI. It's like a house of cards. You get convicted of DUI, then the VAWA goes down, then now you have to do something else in cancellation of removal. If you're not convicted of DUI, then the VAWA gets approved and you can adjust your status before a judge. So, the DUI is the house of cards that holds everything together. Now, if the DUI's, pled down to something else, then you're okay. If you end up with a DUI, it's not a deportable offense, but it does make bad moral character. You would then be applying for, in removal, cancellation of removal for a battered spouse. And you would have to show 3 years being in America and abuse in a valid marriage. And then you would have to argue before the immigration judge that my one DUI doesn't make me a bad person.
Okay. Right now, my attorney is working on getting a PBJ for me.
Getting a what?
If he gets a PBJ,
what's a PBJ? That's peanut butter and jelly? What? I don't know what a PBJ is.
No, not people.
What?
Probation for justice.
Oh, probation. Probation for what?
For my DUI case.
What's it called? A probation for what?
Before judgment.
Oh, probation before judgment. Okay.
Yes.
So that sounds. I'm not familiar with Maryland penal law. That's why I was making a joke. Peanut butter and jelly. I'm a New York lawyer. Okay. But that sounds like a diversionary program. Okay. Meaning is what's going to happen is that you will be given you will not plead guilty to anything. They will give you a sentence of probation, and if you finish that probation, they will then dismiss the charges. In that particular case, a diversion program would be like an innocent charge, and the case not being thrown out, not having a conviction. So then that would be a good thing.
Okay, because sorry to take your time, because as it is, I have I have a removal hearing shortly after my DUI hearing.
Well, you need on the removal hearing, you're going to tell the judge you have a pending VAWA, so the judge can't move forward on your removal hearing till the VAWA case is decided. So nothing bad's going to happen at the removal. Just make sure if you can get the DUI to that probation without pleading guilty to anything and then the case dismissed, that would be perfect for you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good luck.
God bless you.
Okay,
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Vijay in Austin. Vijay.
Hi. This is Vijay. I'm from Texas. I'm in Texas.
Hi. How are you? You're in Texas. Austin, Texas, right?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm doing good. How are you?
Good.
So currently I'm on H-1B, and my employer is doing the I-140 process. And I'm from India, and the wait time for me to file I-485. I heard that it's going to be 20, 30, 40 years, so it's a very long wait.
India, are you an EB3?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
what is your category? Are you an EB2 or EB3? Or you're not even aware?
I'm a master's. I have a master's degree, so it's going to be EB2 or 3. I think it's EB2.
Well, if you have a master's degree plus 5 years experience, you're EB2.
Yes, I think I'm EB2.
Okay.
So, but they're still doing the I-140, and I'm assuming there's not going to be any problems when it comes to the I-140 getting approved.
Okay.
But they're still on process. Currently, I'm on H1, and my question is it a safe bet to stay on an approved I-140 for 1 decade, 2 decades, or 3 decades, or So is there any issues on that? So that's number one.
Well, the law says you can keep extending your H-1B until the I-140 becomes current to adjust your status. I mean, we got to hope you're not going to be 30 years working for the same, that'd be like indentured servitude. Okay, so we got to hope that our congressmen and senators fix this, especially for Indian. You're probably an IT person, right? So Indian IT people, they have decades of waiting. It's not fair, and hopefully it gets fixed.
So, do you, since you have you've had so much experience in dealing with all these things, all these immigration laws, do you think any sort of backlog reduction bills getting passed anytime soon?
I don't know if there would be a backlog reduction, but I think what they may do is end the per country limits. The reason why India has such a huge backlog is they only, even though there's a certain amount of green cards given in any given year, out of that, not more than 6% can go to any one group from any one country, which is why India has such a huge backlog, because most of the IT people coming into America getting sponsored are from India. So I would say that there's a better chance of them ending the per country limits than adding green cards. It's hard to go to American constituents and say we're giving more green cards out. But what they can do is they can end the per country limits, which would then make your wait, a couple of years instead of decades.
So do you see a realistic chance of that happening anytime in the next, 5-10 years?
Yes. The answer is yes. And all joking aside, yes, I think ultimately most legislators, both in the Senate and Congress, know they have to do something.
And you say it's safe to stay on an approved iPhone 40 for a decade or for a very long time?
Well, it's safe for the near term. Call me in a year, call me in 2 years, call me in 5 years. Who knows what the future will be?
Yes.
All right.
True. That's true. Thanks for your time.
All right. Okay. Good luck.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Sarge in Atlanta. Sarge.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Hi. I want to bring my daughter from Africa, but I'm a green card holder, so her mom has custody. And I was told that since I'm here and I'm a green card holder, she's not like she's not qualified for the B2 visa, and I just want her to come and visit.
I think you should apply for her green card.
Yeah, but I don't have the custody.
You don't need custody. I mean, the mom would have to sign a letter saying it's okay for her to get a green card. The mom doesn't want to do that.
No, she's fine with her visiting, like 4 months.
Okay, fine, but just tell the mom the way for her to visit is to get a green card.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could bring her in to get a tourist visa. I doubt they'll give it to her.
They will? Okay.
But you could
Is
try.
she qualify?
Probably not, but you could try. You never know. You could explain the situation. The mom has custody. She doesn't want me to file for a green card. I just want my daughter to visit me, and she's going home. And hopefully they believe you, and if that's the case, you'll get it. So try, and then worst comes to worst, if it gets denied, now you can go back to mom and say, now we got to do the green card.
Right.
All right.
Right. And then second question, how safe it is to travel with extension? It's for my friend.
Extension of what?
Of a conditional green card.
If you have the extension notice and the expired green card, it's perfectly safe to travel.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Good luck.
Bye.
All right. Let's go to Alex in Patterson, New Jersey.
Hello.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Question, Brad. If one person have a marriage fraud deportation order, is there a possible way with a U.S. citizen wife and 3 children to ever take that off the record and become a green card holder?
If you have a 204C finding, which is marriage fraud, which is the Immigration Service says you paid somebody to be in a business marriage, or you filed an application and said you were in love when this was a marriage of convenience just to get you a green card, that is a permanent bar for the rest of eternity. She could not get a green card through a second marriage. She can't get a green card through anything. So the way to attack it is this. If it was a business marriage and immigration found out, well, SOL, which means, you can't prove what they already know. They already know it was business, and it was business, and there's nothing you could do about it. But if your wife says it was not a business marriage, it was a marriage of love, maybe we were not Romeo and Juliet, maybe it wasn't the strongest marriage in the world, but it was not a business marriage, then what you need to do is you file for your wife, and then you got to go to immigration and prove the first marriage, they're wrong. That first marriage was legit, and here's the evidence, and then my marriage is legit too. You got to prove both marriages are legit. I've done that before. I've gone back and proven both marriages are legit after immigration has said the first marriage wasn't real and it was a business marriage. But you got to go back and attack both.
Yeah, but the only problem is that the person admitted that it was a business marriage.
The person who
the person who was applying for the adjustment status.
All right. So, but now I go back to this question: was that person lying to hurt your wife, or was that person telling the truth? If they're telling the truth, there's nothing I can do about it. If they're lying, then we attack and say they're lying.
So if there was an admittance of marriage for business, then there's nothing, there's no lawyer in this world.
You didn't hear a word I said, sir. Go back and listen to exactly what I just said. You didn't hear a word I said. Juna in Long Island.
Hi, Brad. How are you doing, man? Good night. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Hi, Brad. If I filed, my mom was a U.S. citizen, and she filed for her kids them in Jamaica from 2011. Can you dare to tell me where that now?
Say it again.
My mom filed for her kids them in Jamaica 2011.
Okay. Are the kids married or single?
They're married at the time, but they're divorced now.
Does immigration know they're divorced?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because if immigration knows they're divorced, they should have their green cards already.
All right. Listen, next thing. What if one of the guys come up here and they get married to a U.S. citizen, and there was a issue with his wife, and then what happened is he's looking about a spouse abuse case. How long that does take?
About 3 years.
All right. And the next thing, like how he's in this state now and still married to the U.S. citizen, can he still go into with his wife, his mom, filing from here? Because I think he talked to his lawyer, and his lawyer said if it was current, you'd have to get a waiver from the government.
Well, if he's been out of status here, yes, he would need to get a provisional waiver, go home, and come back.
And how long does it take?
About 2.5 years.
No, the waiver.
About 2.5 year process, 1.5 years to get the waiver, and then another year because of COVID in Kingston, the embassy's closed. Figure it's 2.5 years.
Okay. And tell me, you said how long spouse abuse take now?
About 3.
About 3. Okay.
But if you were physically abused or extreme emotional abuse, and that would be the way to go over doing the provisional waiver, because you'll get a work permit and you'll get to live here legally and get advanced parole. You'd have to prove your case. That to me is the smarter route if you can prove your case than doing the provisional waiver.
And how long that does take now?
Don't worry about you're asking the wrong questions.
What's your question?
The question you should ask is, how the hell do I get my green card? I'm tired of waiting. I want to get my green card. What's the best, smartest thing that I can do? Is this one going to be more than 6 months longer than this one? That's not the question. The question is, how do I get my green card? How do I fix myself? And what I'm saying to you is, if you are an abused spouse and there was physical abuse or extreme emotional abuse, That is
Emotion.
the better route. Whether or not we can prove that, whether you reach to that level, I don't know. You would need a consultation. But you got to start asking the question, what's the best route for me, not what's the fastest route for me. All right, hold on one second.
Oh, shit.
Let's go to Sasha in Kingston. Sasha.
Hey, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Quick question. Would it be which one would actually be the best option? I-1 for the fiancé visa or the I-130, the permanent resident? If you're planning to get married.
The fastest route would be fiancé visa, and that's what I'm suggesting to everybody because especially with COVID these days.
The I-130?
The fiancé visa is the faster route.
Would we be able to actually work? How long would it take us to actually get a work permit?
Where are you now?
Jamaica.
Okay, so you would get a fiancé visa. You would come to the United States. You would get married and file an adjustment, and you get your work permit 6 months later. A fiancé visa could take a year or so. Or your husband or future husband could fly to Jamaica, marry you, come back, file an I-130. That could be 2 years. But you come up with a green card. So don't worry about work. Don't worry about, you're like the other guy. Don't worry about how fast can I get my work permit. How fast can you be reunited with your spouse? Don't you want to have a life with him?
That's true, but then you don't want to be able not to be able to work.
Well, it's going to be a few months. So then the question's not what's the fastest, what's the best for you. Then let him go marry you, and you'll wait 2 years, and you'll come up with your green card. And when you come up with your green card, you'll work.
Okay, next question is, I know that the embassy in Jamaica is actually closed. Is there any information you have in regards to the H-2B visa also?
For a what
Will
visa?
that be something for
the embassy? The embassy is closed. It's closed. It's closed. It's closed for H-2B visas.
All right, thanks.
All right. I don't understand people's questions sometimes. Just, I want to work. I want to work. I want to work. Give me your work visa. What about being reunited with your spouse, man? What's the fastest way? It's not the fastest way. What's the best way? What's the best way that I can be helped? By the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, you could always follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. You could drop me a DM. I'll be happy to answer your question as best as I can. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. You follow us at Brad Show Live. As I always say, you can't handle 2 hours of us, but you can handle 45 seconds of us. Follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And of course, you can follow us at Brad Show Live on TikTok, our fastest growing social media platform. I can't answer every last question on TikTok because there's just too many. But if you're lucky enough to ask your question and I see it and I like the question, you will get a personal video response from me on TikTok. People love it.
They do. And you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And of course, you can stay tuned in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Drop your questions in the comments in social media, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Yo-Yo and Vanessa are scouring the comments for the best questions, issues, and problems. And then after we check in with social media, later in the show, I'm going to speak with the director and producer of the documentary Me the Other, about 12 students in Michigan whose lives are challenged by being othered.
And now Charmaine Davis, clinical psychotherapist and creator of the Just Us app, tells us the number one thing you'd like to see in immigration reform. So let us know in the comments as well what you would like to see change.
What is the number one change you want to see in U.S. immigration reform?
You know what? I can tell you this. I am not an expert. That is not my expertise, but I do working with the immigration. I guess what I would love to see is just like I'm saying for Black and brown folks, for this population of folks to be treated fairly, to be given the resources needed to be able to just live and thrive in the communities that they're already in. I do see what these folks go through in terms of paperwork and how it takes months to get certain things done and how they are afraid to walk out the door because they don't know if they're going to snatch from their children. So I do see that part.
All right, let's check out social media. What's going on, guys?
All right, first one comes from Étudiante Noir. Brad Squad VIP member. I have my 2-year green card through marriage. I want to file for unemployment. Will this be a problem when I file my 10-year or citizenship?
No, it's not a problem at all. Filing for unemployment has nothing to do with poverty guidelines. Even if Donald Trump got impeached and fired, I guess he would be able to apply for unemployment too.
Okay, I have Ida7ABB on Instagram. My brother got deported 14 years ago. He was told to pay back $37,000. He was paying every month till the day he was deported. He paid $7,200. He could not continue paying after being deported. Now he wants to try the criminal rehabilitation program in Canada to enter Canada. He's told everything has to be closed in the US in order to apply. Do you think it's still open?
What is still open? His criminal case? I have no idea. If in terms of paying back restitution, if he's paid back full restitution, it's closed. If he hasn't paid back full restitution, it could still be open. So it's not a matter of he paid this back. Did he pay back the full restitution? I have no idea until somebody checks.
CE user on YouTube. What's the difference between an N600 and an N600K?
An N600 and an N600K? It's a very good question. I don't know all the forms, but the N600 is for the certificate of citizenship.
Okay.
Daryl Winba on YouTube. How long is the processing time for changing of status from B2 to F1 student visa if my case is at the Potomac Service Center and the receipt date is September 10th, 2021?
I don't know the exact date, but figure they're taking like 7, 8, 9 months right now.
Majid Khan on YouTube. My individual date is November 24th, and I'm also an essential worker. Am I eligible or not?
No, you're not eligible because they're not doing essential worker amnesty at this point.
And on YouTube, how long does the expedited humanitarian parole for Afghan nationals take considering the crisis happening now?
We don't have the slightest idea. People are filing them. We haven't seen them approved yet, so we don't know.
Astute Man on YouTube. Can I apply for asylum after 5 years?
No, unless there's unless there's changed country conditions.
Mohammed Manrul Islam on YouTube. I applied for a U visa in July of 2018. When can I expect to get an EAD or BFD?
Well, hopefully you'll get the bona fide determination within the next couple of months. They're going to start reviewing everything.
Elizabeth Francis on Facebook. What about people who have been waiting on their green cards for a long time? Will there be any consideration for them in obtaining their green cards?
Not at the moment.
Alia Franchuis on YouTube. Would owing 6 months of taxes affect an I-751 application and was filed jointly? The person who owes the taxes is the beneficiary.
No, it does not affect it.
Ruth Ann Marlin on YouTube. How long after receiving a permanent green card through VAWA can I file for citizenship?
3 years, assuming the abuse was through a citizen.
And last one comes from Brooklyn S2 on YouTube. I'm waiting for my IR1 interview in a third country. If I applied for my IR1 visa in a third country, would it make it longer than those people applying in their own country?
Depends what country you're from and depends what country you want to apply to, but you would have to ask permission in that third country. It just doesn't happen by magic just because you want it to happen. You got to ask permission to the specific embassy that you want to go to for the third country. Me the Other is a documentary about 12 students in Michigan whose lives are challenged by being othered and whose struggles and triumphs reveal the resilience of the human spirit. The film is a finalist in this year's Astoria Film Festival in Astoria, New York, and is being screened at the Zucker Theater in Queens this Saturday, October 2nd. I spoke with director, co-producer Shidan Majidi and executive producer Dino Soros about their project. Let's watch. Me the Other is a documentary film about a diverse group of 12 students from 3 universities in southeastern Michigan. The film was originally conceived as a way to tell stories of immigrants and what it means to them to be an American. Once production began, director, co-producer Shidan Majidi and executive producer Dino Soros discovered a common theme of feeling like an other and searching for acceptance as part of the human condition. Whether it was an undocumented DACA recipient, a Cameroonian immigrant chasing a career in medicine, a 66-year-old trans woman, or a biracial couple from opposite ends of the world, it became apparent that there was something relatable about feeling out of place in each of these stories. Shadon and Dino joined us today to discuss their documentary, Me, the Other. Welcome, guys. How are you? And thanks for coming on.
Hi, Brad. Thank you for having us.
So we're going to watch a little trailer about the film, and then if you can tell us a little bit about what we watched.
How do you explain to someone that someone else matters? It's hard.
He was like younger than me, and like I was a cashier and he was a bagger, so it was just kind of like, I mean, he was really friendly and stuff like that, but I never thought twice. He told me almost immediately. He wanted to make sure that it was very clear that I knew his situation.
Before you even said one word, you fit the stereotypic mold, right?
You're bound to feel like the other where everyone else seems to be equal. And that is not fair.
Who doesn't? Sorry. Someone who doesn't have a place anywhere.
Right away, I was just in a totally different world.
People looked at me as if I were different.
And my entire life changed.
People intend to make me uncomfortable, to intimidate me.
I had a sense of, well, God loves everybody but me.
You start questioning all your beliefs.
So it's kind of in that moment, I was just like, if I can't even handle like salad dressing, how am I going to handle all the other stuff that's going to come up in life?
I'm not a very angry person, but sometimes I do ask God, like, why do all of these things happen at once?
Kind of hard for me because I've never spoken to anyone about this.
I feel like I'm just like anyone else, but I'm not.
Why do we have to argue that we matter? We should all just believe we matter.
So how did you get the idea to do this documentary?
So the idea actually spawned from me kind of having a desire to explore what it means to immigrate to another country. I was kind of reflecting on my parents' experiences immigrating to this country. I was really kind of in awe that someone could leave a place where that's all they know and they don't speak the language of the new place. They have no money, no job, no connections, no family, anything, and just pick up and go to that place. I was really kind of blown away that someone could do that and not really sure that I would be able to accomplish that. So I had approached my good friend Shadon over here about kind of exploring this idea and what it means to be an immigrant and to immigrate to another country and the struggles that you deal with as that.
Some of the people we saw, a trans woman, a biracial couple, they're not necessarily immigrants. You're now telling the story about people who feel out of place, whether they're an immigrant or some other minority or gender minority or whatever, that particular story that you're talking about. How did that transform during the filming?
When Dino approached me about this idea, and we were just post-election, and we noticed in our neighborhood, which is a very diverse neighborhood here in Queens and New York, that there was just a lot of outspoken hatred and prejudice that we could feel in our neighborhood, which we had never before. So we discussed the story of the immigrants, but then this whole concept of prejudice became so prevalent, not only in our communities, but all over the world. It's such a universal plague right now. And then I got a call from a friend of mine in Michigan, who's a professor at the University of Michigan, and they wanted to celebrate diversity on their campuses. And we held auditions, and these stories came to us, and we thought, let's tell the stories of other people. And what does it mean to be another, in this day and age?
You live in a county that's as diverse and culturally unique as any county, Queens, New York, as any county in America. I mean, did you ever think about just, why don't we just stay in Queens and do it? Or or you really found the stories relatable all the way out of Michigan?
To be honest with you, because the idea came from Michigan and the funding was available there, I thought to take these 3 different campuses in Michigan would be a good platform, a good sort of backdrop to tell the stories of students from these campuses. You know, funding is everything, as you know. So it was a quick way for Dino and me to tell stories that we wanted to tell about prejudice.
So you picked, I understand, 12 stories that are in this film. Is that correct? Out of how many stories did you have to, shuffle through to figure out these are the best 12?
Out of 42 stories.
Does one story stand out as really impacted you guys the most?
I mean, for me, it's Javier. His story, his family story, his parents' story, his brother's stories, it's unbelievable. And to me, it's the perfect embodiment of what immigrants and undocumented immigrants are going through right now.
So we have a trailer for Javier. Who is Kiko to Javier?
Keiko and Javier are both students at University of Michigan, and they actually both intern at an immigration law firm in Ann Arbor. But Keiko's now graduated and works for a law firm in Chicago.
Okay, so let's watch Javier and Keiko.
Education, not deportation! Education, not deportation!
It's terrifying, honestly. I just thought about everything going down the drain. I don't know, it's got me really down. And that's why I decided to come out here.
So my parents brought us to the United States just for the possibility that their children could have a better future. And I can't imagine a bigger sacrifice than that.
I hope that they can present a clean bill that doesn't break families apart, that ultimately gives us a pathway to citizenship. I'm tired of being in the middle. I'm tired of not knowing what's going to happen next.
So what was each of your individual roles in making this movie?
I, as executive producer, really helped to kind of facilitate everything coming together, mostly on a post-production end, just because that is my professional area of expertise. I'm a visual effects artist by day, but storyteller just in general in life. Consulting with Shadon about the process, the post-process, and all that, and really sometimes lending, my thoughts and ideas to the story as well.
And Shadon, what was your role in all of this?
Credit-wise, I'm a co-producer and a director of the film. We actually begun, the idea was for both of us to co-direct, but this guy next to me got married. This film was done in such a short time span, and there was such a deadline. He had to go on his honeymoon.
So from the inception of the idea to a finished product, how long did it take you guys to make this film?
A month and a half-ish.
You did this in 6 weeks, this entire film?
Yep, and with no money.
Oh my God.
This guy was just around the clock. Shadon was living, breathing, and eating me the other. I wish that I could have been as involved in it with him as I wanted to be. Unfortunately, life was crazy with weddings and stuff. But yeah, I mean, basically everybody who worked on it lived and breathed the film for 6 months.
So
yeah, but we all worked as volunteers. So actually, we all had day jobs during the day. So once we got home in the early evening, we worked until the morning. In the morning, go to the day job, come back home, and in the weekends.
You didn't make any money doing this. Nobody was paying you to do this. Is there an expectation that you're going to see some money from this, or is this really truly a labor of love for you guys?
It was exactly that. It was exactly a labor of love. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. It was more about, and we discussed this very early on, how there was really no possibility for this to even make money. It was more about exposing the stories and exposing people to the stories that potentially they could relate to, and that's why we went with such a diverse group of stories, is that somebody could potentially find something of themselves in each one of these individuals.
What is it in each of you individually, inwardly, that it was so important to get these stories out and get this film out and tell the stories of these 12 students at Michigan who felt on the outskirts?
I think it's important to know that we did have some sponsors who were really angels. But what was really important is the state of the world and the state of the human soul and how much suffering there is right now and how much injustice there is right now. And I think we both came together I mean, when Dino first approached me about the immigrant documentary, he said, we've got to do something. We've got to help people who are suffering right now. And I think that's what drove us. It wasn't about money. It was about telling stories that needed to be told, because there's just such a stereotypical view and fear of people who are different, which is the perfect political pawn. But when it comes to reality, people are suffering and people are feeling hatred when we really are all the same.
I've been saying this my entire career as an immigration attorney. When somebody meets an immigrant or somebody meets somebody who's different than them, and they realize that they have a lot more in common than they have different, they don't necessarily change their political view, but what they do is they say, yeah, let's deport everybody except my friend here. He's a really nice guy. We want to help him.
So you're exactly right. And that was really, you know, when I stated before that we knew it wasn't for money, it was kind of about that. It's easy living in New York City and in Queens in such diverse areas where you're constantly surrounded by diversity and immigrants and people who don't speak a language you speak, that when you're forced to live together like that, it kind of is easier to accept. And I think that a lot of people who have this sort of prejudice, quote unquote, are just not exposed to people of other cultures. And it's like you said, once you expose them to this, then they see that they're just human. They're not so different than they are themselves.
Correct. What was the reaction to the film?
The reaction at the premiere was phenomenal. We got a standing ovation. And since then, we've been getting a lot of requests from schools and colleges, not only in this country, but all over the world.
So in the trailer that we saw, one person mentions not being able to handle salad dressing. What was that story all about?
So AJ is on the spectrum. I believe he's got Asperger's. He speaks about how it limits him kind of with like the most menial of tasks in his life. And one is that he had this instance where he was so stressed out about being able to put salad dressing on his salad that he couldn't sort of fathom how he was going to be able to get through his life if he couldn't actually even choose the salad dressing. And I think for me, that one's kind of, the story is not to demean it or anything, but it's actually a very cool aspect of our film in that it's not solely race or gender. You know, it's even somebody who struggles with something like Asperger's and how they feel different and how they're treated differently, you know?
Do you have an immigration story yourself?
Both of my parents are immigrants from Greece. They fled Greece during the military junta, as it was called, in the 60s. Basically, the military was overthrowing the monarchy at the time, and they were taking control, and it just wasn't a good situation. So my parents fled Greece. They actually met here, got married, had a couple of kids. So I'm a first generation born American. And I actually speak Greek, which is kind of shocking to people sometimes.
And Shaddad?
I was born in Iran. We are Baha'i by spiritual beliefs. Just before the Islamic Revolution, we felt the revolution coming. My parents took the family out, and since Baha'is have been persecuted and executed to this day in Iran, so we were amongst the
You got lucky to get out. This was pre-79.
Correct.
What has come of this film since it's premiered, and are there any expectations for the future?
We have had requests from, as I said, schools and colleges, and also some companies. We had entered the film in several festivals. A festival in India picked it up, and we won the Best Documentary Award. We plan to show it in schools and colleges across the nation and the world.
Is there a website for this film?
It's metheotherfilm.com. We're also on Facebook under the same title, metheotherfilm.com.
Do you feel you're living your American dream? Do you still feel there's something to accomplish?
I really believe that we are headed towards a globalist kind of a community, and I believe that the world is my country. So my dream is for the world to see itself as one country. I sincerely believe that we will get there, and the process has begun. So that's my dream.
For me, am I living the American dream? I guess so. I mean, I'm happy. I have food, I have clothes on my back, and a roof over my head. Unfortunately, that's not a reality for everybody in this country. So I think that to say I'm living the American dream would be sort of selfish. I'm living a dream and somebody else is not, you know what I mean? So I think the important thing is that we continue to kind of strive to help people who not can't help themselves, but need help, you know, or need to be brought up, basically. to the American dream or whatever that is for them. I'm working towards it, I guess, is my answer.
Shadan, Dino, thank you very much for coming on. Your film documentary called Me the Other. It looks fabulous.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you very much. All right, 9 immigration questions, our last 9 of the week. I'm going to do it in 50 seconds. Right? Yes.
I was like,
Yes. Yes. That was not a positive feeling there from Yo-Yo.
Do this.
No,
Hang
no.
in there.
All right.
All right.
Vanessa, Yo-Yo's not feeling positive right now.
Perfect. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
All right. All right, let's do it.
How long is the current wait time for K1?
At least 8-9 months.
What is the best way to move to the U.S. from a European citizen as a European citizen?
Speak to a lawyer.
How long can a non-U.S. citizen stay out of the U.S.?
A non-U.S. citizen? I don't know what their status is.
Can I apply for an EB3 visa with pending asylum?
It depends what your status is when you applied for asylum.
Do I need a visa to legally give birth in the U.S.?
It depends how you entered the United States, what your intention was when you came to the U.S.
Can I apply for citizenship after I-751 is approved?
If you have 3 years bona fide marriage. These are ridiculous questions.
I just felt it.
What kind of... I'm not even going to... Blow me up, man.
I mean, did we just give up?
We just gave up because every question was ridiculous. What's the best way for a European to come to America?
European citizen.
What is a European citizen? There is no such thing.
Well, this is the same Bradford that was asking for harder questions yesterday.
It was. All right, go back to the easier ones for Monday. What were the other ones, quickly?
Can I travel abroad with my temporary green card renewal is pending?
The answer is yes on that one.
And then it was, which is better for delayed cases at the USCIS, an expedite or a mandamus?
It again depends what the situation is. Now, there was a question: can you give birth on a if you come on a tourist visa for purposes of giving birth? That's a misrepresentation.
Says, do I need a visa to legally give birth in the U.S.?
You are giving birth in the United States when the baby comes out. Period. Okay, you have no control when that baby's coming out. What the issue is, if you enter the United States on a tourist visa, for example, with the intention of giving birth, that could be a misrepresentation. If you're here on a student visa and you happen to get pregnant and you give birth, that's not a problem. If you entered without inspection and you happen to, give birth, you're giving birth in America, period. Whether the government likes it or not, that baby's coming out.
Right.
All right? You didn't lie to anybody. You just ran across the border somewhere or got driven up across the border. It's the misrepresentation issues of coming on, saying I have the intent to do one thing when it's really the intent to give birth. All right, comments of the day.
All right. Our first comment of the day comes from Elizabeth Francis saying, "Congratulations, Uncle Brad. You're the winner. I already am handing it to you."
Winner of what?
Of the award.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll find out November 9th, but thank you very much.
Okay, next comment. Don Harriet saying, "Congratulations to the squad too. Without us, there would be no Brad Show live." That is true.
Hashtag true.
Yes, yes. And our last one. This is about today's DHS announcement regarding prioritized immigration enforcement. This is from Yalansi Yavasak saying, smart move. If you can't kick them out, you got to find a way to accommodate them.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
All right, very good job. Vanessa, very good job. Yo-Yo, very good job behind there. We're going to recharge our batteries, and we'll see you back live on Monday for Fuzzy Monday. Have a great 3-day weekend, guys. So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it, I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.